Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to kind of run you guys through the process of setting up a Facebook profile, going through some of the settings, maybe optimizing and throwing up a cover photo, and ultimately turning your personal profile into a means for your business. Now, a couple things before we dive in, right? I am talking about your personal profile, not a business page, not anything like that, like your actual profile that you probably already had for the last decade. You've been showing, cat pictures, whatever, like your actual profile that you're probably friends with your family on. Now, I know this can be an intimidating thing for a beginner to think about. Hey, I don't want my friends and family to see what I'm actually doing in business. And one, we got to kind of either push past that and kind of rip the band-aid off and do it anyways. And realistically, you're not trying to sell to your friends and family anyways. Like you're going to build an actual organic audience of other people, not just your friends and family. But the biggest thing also is you probably already have an account, and Facebook does not like you to have multiple profiles. Okay, they want you to have one profile, right? So you have to make a decision as to whether you're going to rebrand and merge your current profile that you use, or you're going to start a new one. But you might run into issues if you start a new one. So for this training purpose, I am going to set up a completely different profile, go from the beginning, from scratch. That way I can kind of run through the actual process with you guys. But mind you, I'm not actually going to end up be using this profile because I've been using my own personal profile for the last few years, ever since I created it in 2018. And I've built a 7-figure business primarily because of Facebook. That's where I create content. That's where I talk to people. That's where I capture attention and move people into my ecosystem. Now, some people will tell you Facebook's dead, and I couldn't tell you that it's not couldn't be farther from the truth. We still actively use Facebook in our business every single day. And realistically, it's probably one of the easiest and quickest platforms for people to get set up on. And the cool part is it allows you to kind of tap into a few different arenas as far as the virality of short form video content, the intimacy of one-on-one conversations. And then you can also start putting videos. You can start putting written content on there. And you can kind of end up doing it all in one space. And even better yet, you can also have a group on Facebook. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to run through setting up an actual profile and going through some of the settings and getting it all set up. But before I do, know that depending on when you're watching this video, some of the things might look different. The features might look different. Realistically, Facebook changes, all software change rapidly. So some of the things might not look exactly the same, and you might just have to kind of find them. Obviously, go to facebook.com, get your account created. I'm going to run through this process real quick, get an account set up, and then we'll kind of start diving into the nitty gritty. If you already have an account, which I would assume and imagine most of you guys do, you can kind of just bypass this part and not really worry about this because, as I mentioned, you're going to want to probably use the profile you already have because Facebook will usually negatively affect brand new profiles. They don't want bots. They don't want spammers. They don't want people that are out there scamming. So you'll actually might run into more problems. So we usually tell all of our clients, if you can and you're willing to, I would usually just start merging your actual profile into a means for business. And it took me about 30 seconds to sign up. So it makes sense why spam artists have so many different profiles. But anyways, so now that we're in there, completely fresh, completely brand new. Again, you would follow this same process if you already have a profile. But realistically, we're going to get things set up. So I'm going to come up to the top right. I'm going to first mess with the settings and privacy and set these up correctly because there's a certain way that we probably want to end up doing this, especially if you're going to be using a Facebook profile to build a personal brand, which we encourage most people to do. So we'll go into settings and privacy. Settings. Go ahead and just skip this, past this right here. The biggest things that we want to potentially do is we want to make all of our content public. We want to make sure people can't tag us. We want to do certain stuff like that. So that way, we can grow. We can actually start to get attention, awareness, and stuff like that via the content we start creating. But checking these boxes first can definitely be beneficial. So first round of settings, we'll go to default audience settings right here, left side. Okay, we're going to go to public. And it basically means anyone can see what you share, interact with your public content. This is going to allow you to get out in the world, get out there, do all this. Now, there is different things that you could potentially do, like custom settings. If you say you don't want your friends and family to see the content that you're producing about business, but realistically, in my opinion, that just creates more problems. Like if you're trying to live two different lives and you're ashamed of talking about your business around your friends and family, like we got to kind of push past that realistically. Like people are going to judge you either way. So usually would just recommend having it as public. Now, if you notice, other things will start to populate, right? Who can see your posts, your stories, reels, anyone, who can allow others to share your stories, etc. So basically all of this stuff is linked to public. Now, the one we can change, if we come in here and we go to edit settings, we can change a couple of these things. So who can see your stories? Who can see your future posts? We're going to want to go public with this. Okay. Who can see your stories? We're going to want to change this to public again. Story privacy. Who can see your reels? Public, yes. Allow others to share. Yep. Public. Public profile info. This would be like, job history, stuff like that. You could either leave this as friends or you can just go public, right? Like obviously don't put a ton of intimate information out there on social media if you don't want to and stuff like that. Who can see the people and pages and lists you follow? I like to set this as only me. And the reason that I end up doing this is because people will kind of pitch, right? People will, if you're following somebody, maybe you're friends with somebody, maybe you have family members, like as you start growing, you might end up picking up people that want to go pitch people on your following list. People go pitch people that are potentially in your world. So I kind of like to put it as only me, so that way nobody else can like connect with my contacts, with my friends, family, etc. So that's kind of how I'll have that set up. So then we got the default audience updated. Click done. Okay, that's that. Then we're going to go ahead and scroll down to profile details right here, audience and visibility. This will allow you to add a bunch of different stuff, which we don't necessarily have to add any of this realistically if you don't want to. Contact basic info. You probably already have a lot of this different stuff on your actual profile, right? We can end up adding a website, stuff like that. You will notice that it'll also show like right here, like see this is only visible to friends, like birthday, etc. You can also change these, like if you don't want anybody to know your birthday, you can turn that off. So we're going to go here. We're going to go back to the settings, audience and visibility, how people find and contact you. We're going to open that one. Okay, who can send you friend requests? You want everybody. Who can see your friends list? Make this only me. Again, you don't want people to get on there, right? And then for this down here, how you get message requests, you're going to want to, from friends of friends on Facebook, deliver requests to, you're going to want to go chats. And then you're going to want to make sure this is set to default on message requests. And that way people can actually message you. Like if you're creating a piece of content and someone sends you a message, if you don't have this on, they won't be able to message you, which then you won't be able to actually like connect with them, talk with them, and then potentially sell them an offer. So that's that part. We'll come back into posts. We got this who can see your future posts? Public. Now this is a cool piece that you guys can use if you want to potentially start merging your, like let's say you have a lot of personal content, you have a lot of family content, you have a lot of different stuff on your profile right now that you don't want the business people to see. You can activate this feature which will limit past posts, meaning anybody that you, like from the time that you turn this on, all of your future content will not be seen. I mean, all of your previous content will not be seen by those people, right? Now, the problem with this is it will literally hide the content, right? So you will be able to see it. Nobody else will see it. So I want to warn you, if you've already been creating content publicly, do not turn this feature on unless you are okay with losing out on your previous content maybe related to business. But if you're just starting and you've been posting content for about, whatever the last 10 years, all personal, all family, nothing to do with business, you could potentially turn this on because it will basically private all of that previous content for you. Anything that you've posted on socials, it will actually private it. But if you've been building your business on socials, do not turn this on. And I could say that from experience. I did this on my actual profile, and I had to go back through and make about 4 years worth of content public again because I've been building my business on Facebook for a very long time. So this will basically turn all of your content that you've posted previously from public to just to friends. Like only friends can see it. People that were tagged in it can see it. So that's one option that you can use if you're utilizing your profile and transitioning it into a business. If you don't want people to see like, political stuff or religious stuff or whatever on your actual profile, you could turn this feature on and it will basically private all of the content that you've produced up until the day that you turn it on. Then we got these. We got in stories. We're going to go who can see your stories publicly, obviously. Allow people to share your stories if you mention them. You can turn that on if you're tagging friends, whatever. They can add that on. This is a cool feature if you want to eventually have a back catalog of stories you create. It's not going to hurt to turn that on. So basically check all of those on, make sure it's public. Then we're into reels. Allow others to share their reels to their stories. Yes, public. Followers and public content. Okay, this is a big one. So who can follow me? Anybody, right? We want to make sure that is turned on. You can turn this on to who can see your followers on your timeline. This will just populate how many followers you have. It doesn't actually show who you follow or who follows you and stuff like that. You can leave that public, or you can turn it off if you don't want to have that public. Again, turn this who can see the people pages you follow. Only me. Who can comment on your post? Public. Public post notifications. Yes, you're going to want to turn those on. Public profile info. It's also public. And then we got show most relevant comments first. You can either turn that on or off. It doesn't really matter. Now you can also filter keywords if you want, but you don't necessarily have to use that. You won't really have to worry about that until you're actually creating content or getting some actual interaction. Now we're into the next section. Profile and tagging. Who can post on your profile? You're going to want to go only me. Who can see what others have posted on your profile? We're going to go everyone. I know this sounds backwards, okay? But we're going to actually end up doing it. We're going to end up doing it so that way we screen the pieces of content before they get put on our profile. So we can be more intentional with the type of stuff that we end up putting on our profile. So who can see posts you're tagged in on your profile? We can go everyone. When you're tagged in a post, how do you want to add the audience? And if they can't already see it, we can just leave this as friends. Now this is a thing right here. Okay, review posts you're tagged in before the posts appear on your profile. Turn that on so that way we can make sure we're if so-and-so tags us on our profile, we can be more selective with the type of stuff that we put on our profile. Or let's say, for example, you're out to lunch or whatever with your family, your husband, your wife, or relatives, and they tag you on Facebook and you don't want that all over your social medias, you can turn that on, right? And that could just be a privacy thing. If you don't want random people on the internet finding your family and all that stuff, then we can be more selective with the type of stuff that we allow to be put on our own profiles. So yes, that's that. And then you can kind of leave this off. This basically just lets other people tag you on posts and stuff like that on their profiles. And that's it for the actual settings, the nitty gritty. Realistically, once you get these done, you really won't have to play with them ever again. So now we're going to go into actually setting up some profile, actually setting up your profile itself. Now you probably already have this set up. Again, most of you guys have had profiles for ages, realistically. So we'll kind of just go ahead and set this up. Yes, I was born on April 1st. Uh, photo, obviously, you're gonna want a picture. I would realistically use a picture of yourself, your face, who you are, a human being. We're in the game of building personal brands, so we want to show people who you are. So let me try to find a picture of just me. There we go. We'll use that one. That AI photo. That's all goofy. Bam. It's a good pick. There's me, right? There's my profile picture. Then we're gonna go cover photo. Now, realistically, you don't have to get super crazy, super fancy with this. Canva is super easy to use. Or realistic, like I've never had anybody say like, "Hey, I'm not gonna buy from you because you don't have a professional looking cover photo," or anything like that, right? So realistic, it could just simply be a picture of a view you like or whatever. It does not make or break your business. What's going to be more important is the type of content you're creating, what you actually start doing in business, and not your cover photo, the color of your cover photo. Like none of that shit actually ends up mattering. But there are tons of different templates, graphics you can actually use. Super easy drag and drop over in Canva. So right, if we're in Canva, we're gonna go Facebook cover photo, right? And they'll actually give you like dimensions for Facebook cover photo, right? You got a couple different options. Probably just go with this one. Right, so you'll just kind of be taken with a blank slate, which I know can be intimidating for a lot of people. But there's like tons of templates that you could literally start off of. Like you could literally just use one of these uh, photos in here, and you could just like change it or use it. Right. So for the purposes of this video and keeping it as simple as possible, I'm gonna use like this. Okay. So example. Okay. Delete this photo. Text. Helping people do insert thing. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go here, upload we got this one. Oh, there we go. That's a good pick. I'm gonna use that one. Okay. Okay. Boom. There we go. Took me 25 seconds. Like not literally, but like you get the point here. This doesn't have to be anything super crazy. Like as an example, this is the profile, this is the cover photo of my actual Facebook profile right now. Like just a couple icons. Then we can go Flip Moss. We'll look at Flip's cover photo. It's literally just a picture of him and his family. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Like just get something up. Again, if you're using Canva, there are tons of different templates and stuff that you can use. If you come up here and you hit design, there's a bunch of different templates, right? Elements. There's all sorts of different things that you could potentially end up doing, right? Like you have so many different cover photos, examples. Like you could literally replace current. Like, see, we could literally use one of these and go from there. Like if you have one of these styles that you like just use one of these, right? Why not? We can just it just automatically imports. Obviously, change some text. I would probably end up putting your own face on there, right? As an example. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy complex. Go ahead and download this. That way I can upload this beautiful image of myself over on Facebook. So we're back on the old FB. Add cover photo, upload photo. Okay, there's that. Save changes. Okay, there we are. Look, profile's up and functional, right? So we got that. And again, I'm totally, having some fun with this and not being serious, which that's just part of my personality. You got your photo, and obviously use a picture of you, right? Like you're building a personal brand. We want to have a picture of you. For the cover photo, if you are doing something a little bit fancier, you could do kind of what you do, what you help people do, where you're planning on going. Hey, helping folks build online businesses through content creation and communities, helping women lose weight after having a baby, helping people book 15 calls a week, right? It doesn't necessarily matter. Whatever your unique mechanism is and what you help people do, right? Just call it out. So then we got this stuff over here. We can go ahead and add a bio, right? Now this is like what will populate on potential when people see your profile, right? So helping now you can also put a link in here. It will be clickable on like desktop and stuff like that, not mobile, but you can also throw in a link here if you want, right? It could be like insert link to group, right? As an example. Okay, so we got that. So it's like helping people simplify sales online through content creation and communities, insert link to group. Okay, we come in here, we go to edit details. You can add this stuff if you want, like pronouns, workspace, workplace, high school, all that type of stuff. The way I like to look at it is like less is more, realistically. Like I've come on people's pages where they got like 17 different jobs they've had, all these different stuffs. And at the end of the day, we want to minimize the number of options or things that people could like get lost in and go like wander off on the internet and never be found again. So websites, we're gonna obviously keep that as public. And you can also end up going in here like this. Like, so we got photos, sports teams, like it populates so many different things in here, which you don't have to include or have a lot of it. Like, I think the only things that I have in mind is like current city and hometown. I don't think I have like work and education stuff on there, or anything like that. Now, if we come into contact and basic info, this is where we would add a website. So we'd go here, we'd go website, insert your group.com, right? You can put a link to your group there. Like, okay. And then if you wanted to potentially link other social medias, you definitely could, right? So it could be adding any of these social media accounts that you want. You could literally go in and link, right? So YouTube, okay, username on YouTube, Nate Ryan, right? Save. Add a social link, right? TikTok, we got Nate Ryan on TikTok, okay? So you're like adding these different socials if you are obviously creating content on those socials, but less is more. Realistically, like don't give people 700 different options, because at the end of the day they're probably not going to make any decisions at all. So now that we got that up, we can go back to our main profile. Right, we got and then I see it'll populate socials over here, but it will show up as like a different link. So it's potentially not the best thing to have a bunch of different ones, because it would, as I just mentioned, it gives people too many different things, and then they were talking about the community. They could potentially end up just getting lost, right? Like, if you're promoting products or offers, I would probably have one main thing here and not like 17 different affiliate links, programs, etc. Like, pick one. And then we can go here. We can go add featured sections. This is a cool section where you can kind of build out different arenas of content. So like you'll have to be creating content or stories to have this. But this is a cool feature that you guys can end up using. So like as an example, this is a featured section, what that ends up looking like, right? So it just becomes these different strings of content. So it's like, I have hundreds of posts right here that are like proof of concept, results, testimonials, etc. that people could come in and actually like go in and see and consume and do stuff like that. Like, you know, you just have a ton of proof of concept. But realistically, this is primarily for like stories, right? So if you're producing stories, you can end up repurposing them and putting them right here so that the way they get added onto the feature section. And that's pretty much it for setting up your profile, right? So we can come and hit the little three dots. We can go to view as, and there we go. Like we got you got your profile set up, right? You got this, doesn't populate friends, doesn't show about, right? Like we got this, like your profile is good to go now. Okay, now it's a matter of starting to create some content. So it's been a little while since I did one of these, so I figured I would drop it and show you guys, right? Again, Facebook by no means is dead or anything like that. Like we still actively use Facebook every day in our own business. It's where I've been very active on in my own business for years, and I'm creating content on my profile very consistently, pretty much every single day, and that's where the primary attention, lead flow, sales opportunities end up getting created. And usually, would advise that's where most people start. It's not as much of a learning curve, and most people actually, and the cool part about it is it allows you to kind of hit all different types of angles inside of one singular social media platform. You got the short form video, long form, written, group, and the DM piece, so it can technically become like your all-in-one hub. And that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you in the next video, and go out there, get your profile up, and make some money. Bye.